Hello and welcome back today to my channel. I would like you to talk about today a very uh, serious disease of apples, pears, quince and medlars, and it's called fireblight. Fireblight is a bacterial disease caused by the pathogen Erwinia amylovora, and the pathogen is living on these plants in the vegetative season, but the plants can be very susceptible to this disease at the time of flowering. This is our quince tree, and in the flowering there was a little rain and a good warm weather, so the pathogen needs 5 millimeters of rain and 18 degrees Celsius. And when this happens, within an hour or two, the pathogen invades the nectaries, which are these little parts which are not visible anymore, and it starts to grow inside the plant. And you can see this disease causes this caramel or cafe latte browning of the leaves. And you can see that the bacteria goes into the plant vessels, the xylem, and it grows into the leaf. So this tree is very infected. Unfortunately, this year was a very bad year for quince because all our trees are infected with this pathogen. And unfortunately, we cannot use antibiotics, unlike in the US. So you can see that the pathogen goes into the tissues down into the direction of the roots, and it can totally kill a plant within a few years. So, and unfortunately, this pathogen is also transmitted by pollinators like bees, bumblebees, honeybees, and other things like that. And this is the most important symptom you have to remember. But because the bacteria lives on the surface of the plant in the vegetative season, after a storm, sandstorm or hail, you can also see these kinds of symptoms on the shoots which were not flowering, and this is the same pathogen. So you have to be very careful if you grow these plants at home or in an orchard, because you have to cut 40 centimeters of healthy plant tissue with the infected one. So you have to cut it back here in order to stop the spread of this disease, because when you see the symptoms, the pathogen is already done its damage, but it grows inside the plant and it propagates and goes to the stems and to the direction of roots. Also, this pathogen can kill the whole plant, and sometimes you can see cankerous wounds on the stem of the plant. I don't see it now, but I see some eggs. These are stink bug eggs. So these cankerous wounds are responsible for the pathogen's overwintering, and from these wounds, after the sap circulation starts in the plant, it grows and it starts to make these sticky droplets, which are collected by pollinators and flies, and then they are transported to the flowers. This is a very bad, unfortunate moment, because we very much like quince, and we usually my mother makes a lot of food with quince, and it's very sad. But if you remember that when the plant leaves starts to drop, become grayish, and then the veins start to become dark brown or have this caramel or cafe latte color, you are sure that this is the pathogen. And because there are a lot of flowers infected on this plant, we have to cut it back to here in order to stop the spread of the disease. And this pathogen is in Hungary since 1998. My mentor, who I I've worked after him, after he retired, told me that he found the first symptomatic plants not far from Kecskemét, and the next year all orchards in Hungary were infected with this pathogen, so they stopped culling the trees. They gave advice to growers that they could use antibiotics, but since we joined the EU in 20 years ago, we are no longer able to use antibiotics in plant production. And this symptom is also very similar in apples and pears and medlar. And interestingly, because apples flower early, they are the least sensitive to this disease. The most sensitive is medlar, because it flowers in early May when the weather is hot, and if there's a little rain, it's become infected. The second most sensitive is quince, and the third most sensitive is pear, because although it flowers early, the flowers live longer than apple flowers. And also other plants in the subfamily Malloidae are sensitive, so like Pyracantha and Sorbus and Spirea, they all can become infected, but the most important are the fruit-bearing crops. So my father has a lot of cutting to do on this tree. I am very sorry about this tree. I really liked it, and I like the fruit, so... Okay, well, I hope you learned something. If you like my channel, you can like and subscribe, and you can set the notifications at the bell, so you will be notified when I make a new upload, and your comments are always welcome. Thank you for your attention, and see you next time.